Stand pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew. Mr. Kramer.
Here.
Mr. Meneghini.
Here.
Mr. Moraro. Mr. Pop.
Here.
I make a motion, we excuse Mr. Moraro and Ms. Brew.
Support.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Meneghini.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda, the item 13, that's why the agenda was different. It went from the body cam to portable radio. Other than that, if there's no other corrections or changes, need a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Support?
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Meneghini.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Approval of minutes, regular meeting of July 19th, 2021.
I make a motion, we approve the regular meeting of July 19th, 2021.
Support?
Mr. Meneghini.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes. Approval of manifest 2021-15. Any questions? Scott?
I have nothing for tonight.
Rico? None. No questions? I need a motion.
I make a motion, manifest 2021-15, amount of $723,015.80 be approved.
Support?
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Meneghini.
Yes. Answers the previous manifest question.
Yeah, there were no questions, outstanding questions.
Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on agenda items only shall do so at the podium. Anyone on Zoom must use the chat feature. Submit your question or comment and it will be read aloud by one of the members of staff. In either case, state your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person.
Okay, I don't have anything hands raised or any chat.
All right. Public hearing, rural development grant. Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you. As you know, we put in every couple of years, we roll out our squad car, our police squad. We utilize the USDA Rural Development Grant Program.
Excuse me, Grant, do we have to go into public hearing?
Oh, yeah, you gotta go into public hearing for that.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we go into public hearing.
Support.
Thank you, Trish.
Yes. Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Meneghini.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Okay, so we put in an application to the USDA Rural Development for a police squad. And traditionally, we received 40% grant, but in the last police car and now this police car, we are eligible for 55% grant. The squad car purchase with equipment is estimated at $42,200 with $800 shipping. The total car cost is $43,000. The grant will be $23,200, and the city's portion at 55% is $19,800. We do appropriate for the police squad, like I said, on a biannual basis to roll the squads out. Chief Schaefer is here tonight to answer any questions. But this is what we have as part of the requirements. Once we get the approval for the application, it's required for us to do a public hearing. So we advertise and we are having the public hearing this evening.
How long would it take? How long would it take on order?
Usually you get it at October, and then there's January before they make allocations. They tell you that you finally get your money, and then it's possibly May-ish when you see your money. And depending on how soon they tell you or you see your money, you get in the bill cycle. Bring a bill cycle. Usually don't make it in May, June bill cycle, we end up in August, September. And then you don't, then it's 160 days after November. Max the car. Then you go at least a month to be out there. So you're looking, December, January. There's a lot of the outfitters do take a lot of your season off.
Yeah.
So it's in the
Well, who knows how long it's gonna take anyways, ordering anything nowadays, you're pushed out
The
with.
other part is, we have a lot of electronics that go into it that are.
Since it's next year, would we be able to throw it on next year's budget? Or would it have to go on now?
Well, it's in this current budget, in the hopes that we get the money for it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, we have to continue it on to the next one.
We still see it beneficial to be a car versus an SUV, Jim?
Still, yes, gas mileage, and we still on our own, we'll drive a car. Eventually, right now Dodge is the only one that manufactures a sedan or a car all drive. They're the only ones. We have to go with SUV eventually, but you're going to add the cheapest SUV after the car, you're adding about 10 grand to the car itself. That's not stuff going.
Any other questions? No other questions. I need a motion to go back into normal session or out of public hearing.
I make a motion, we go out of public hearing.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes. Appointments and presentations, resolution 2021-26, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you. We're very pleased to have the Norway Little League U10 team here with us this evening. They had quite a fantastic state tournament this past week. If you didn't know, the tournament, the 9-10 state tournament was out at Marion Park. Not only were we blessed with hosting the tournament, and I want to shout out to all the people that made it really a wonderful tournament, did a lot of work. So all of the volunteers, really good job. But then our team stepped up and made it all the way to the finals, and that's quite an accomplishment. So we have a resolution. Councilmember Kramer, if you'd like me to. read that.
Yes, I would, please.
So we have a resolution. We aren't able to hand it out this evening just because we have, our mayor is out of town, and we want to make sure you get all the signatures on the resolution. But I will read the resolution. It's resolution 2021-26. Whereas the 2021 Norway U10 Little League team completed a successful and exciting baseball state tournament, and whereas the team won the District 10 tournament to qualify for the State 9-10 State Little League tournament to be played at Marion Park in Norway, and whereas the team went 2-1 in pool play to qualify for the quarterfinals of the state tournament. And whereas the team won the quarterfinal with a 16-7 win over Tecumseh American on Monday, July 26, 2021, and whereas the team won the semifinal with a 1-0 win over Midland Northeast on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021. And whereas in the final baseball game on July 28, 2021, the team played Greater Bay, and although losing 4-2, they played with the highest level of sportsmanship and competitive spirit, making them worthy ambassadors for Norway Little League. Now therefore be it resolved that it is with great pleasure that the City Council of the City of Norway does hereby recognize and congratulate the accomplishments of the 2021 Norway U10 Little League team, and be it further resolved that this resolution be spread across the minutes of the City Council for the City of Norway, recognizing their accomplishments, adopted this second day of August, 2021. So on behalf of everyone here, we congratulate you on a tremendous baseball tournament. One of the things I would ask, if we could get a list of the roster so that we could add that to the minutes, spread across the minutes, and you will forever be memorialized within the documents of the City of Norway minutes. So congratulations.
Any other comments? Mr. McGee?
It was an amazing week plus of baseball out there. And I know the parents and coaches back there, you know, a lot of it had to do with them and many, many more people. And many more people who aren't in this room. That was a complete community effort. And I think it showed by how many people in our community and surrounding communities came out there and watched you guys. That was some awesome baseball. That was awesome. So thank you guys.
Mr. Pop?
Guys, I'd like to congratulate you on everything they did. I was at everything that you've done out there last weekend. I was proud to support you guys. The thing that I liked most about you guys though is 10-year-olds aren't going to respond like how you guys did. You represented yourselves unbelievable. With the amount of pressure that you had on you and the people you had around that field really showed your composure. And that's going to take you places in the future, how you can be under pressure. That was great. One thing I'm upset about, you guys had more people at your baseball game than I do at football games. Congratulations, guys, on a heck of a run. That was awesome.
Again, the same, echo what everybody else has said. You guys have done a tremendous job. It's something you guys can have forever. Nobody can take it from you. You guys have done tremendous, and I hope you guys are still successful and continue to be successful as you guys grow older. Good job. Mr. Carlson?
From a bigger perspective, I think you guys maybe will look back on this and realize the moment in time that you guys had and how neat it was. Listening to people from all over the state talk about the professionalism, the way in which you carried yourselves, and also the city of Norway, how we represented ourselves. The city employees did a great job of getting that location ready to go. All of the volunteers, but ultimately it's the kids that put the smiles on people's faces and also remind us that baseball is a game, and you guys held the city of Norway in high regard and made us proud. So thank you.
Good job, guys.
Jim, Mary, or Trish, anything?
Oh, good games. I went to all of them.
You should get a picture,
Enjoyed one.
send it into the paper.
When do you want to do that?
We can either do it, if you want to wait till after, or we can do it and then you guys could go.
It's up to them. What do you guys want to do, a picture? Now or after the meeting?
Let's do a picture now.
So get a spot.
You get it in front or behind, or where you want?
Come on, you guys stand right in front there, come up in front.
Thank Coach Scott. Coach. Afterwards, guys.
Well, there's two coaches here. Coach, get on.
Can you do it?
We got another one? Yeah, we're the ones who don't need to be in.
And you're on TV. So smile.
Say go Knights.
Go
Knights.
All right.
Nice.
Good job.
Good job.
Now I'll ask for a motion to pass resolution 2021-26.
I move we pass resolution 2021-26, recognizing the Norway U10 Little League team.
Support.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes. Zoning Board of Appeals, Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you. The next item for appointment is appointment to our zoning board of appeals. We do have a ZBA meeting that we need to schedule here. Councilmember Pop is on the ZBA representing the council. However, we understand with your football schedule, and these are evening meetings, that it's very difficult this time of year. We always have an alternate for this board, and I think it would be good if we talked to Councilmember Mangini, if he would be willing to be your alternate. That still leaves the council members, only one on the ZBA. So that'll I think work out well. So we accepted that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're asking for approval to have Councilmember Mangini be the alternate rep for the.
I make a motion, we approve Mr. Menegini for an alternate council representative for Norway for the zoning board of appeals.
Support.
Mr. Kramer.
Yes.
Mr. Menegini.
Yes.
Mr. Pop.
Yes.
Communications, approval request to purchase city-owned property, Tom Hines.
Okay, so at a previous meeting, we had a couple of properties come up, purchase requests from residents for city-owned property. As you can see in the council report, the policy for how it outlined the handling is to come to city council. Council did approve moving forward with investigating and coming up with a recommendation for this. So we did have Mr. Hines in the first case, what he did was he actually had a survey done. So we have the legal description all set. So he went out and did that. We also have appraisal for estimated cost for this. It's like 0.2 acres. So his recommended or his request was to pay $750. That would cover the estimated appraised value of the property of the 0.2 acres, along with the other fees that would be associated. So we're recommending that we move forward with $750.
Mr. Carlson, have you had a chance to look through it and the purchasing agreement?
Yes, at council's direction, I did draft the real estate purchase agreement. Relatively straightforward. We're talking about a 0.2 acres. The survey is attached and the legal description is attached. As council policy, you would be responsible for any filing fees and fees associated with it. What I'll do is I'll draft up the deed and keep it as reasonable as possible. So it's usually just a small flat rate, and will assist Mr. Hines in getting this thing transferred to council approves.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? If not, I look to get a motion.
I make a motion that Mr. Hines be approved to buy the city property for $750.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes. Request to purchase city-owned property, Ken and Sue Newlands.
Okay, so similar process. Mr. and Mrs. Newlands did put in a request to purchase a piece of property directly behind their house off of US 2. Now, in this particular case, this really came forward when we had that discussion last fall about vacating the alley. And council did push that off to relocate the alley, which is going to happen here. Hopefully by the end of August, we'll have that in place. But one of the situations that came up is that there's a small section of, it's a triangular piece. Again, it's a 0.21 acres. And that we did get an appraised value on that as well. That because it's a platted lot, it does not need to be surveyed, other than we are going to go in and find our northern boundary for the alley. So it's not so much a property line survey as it is for our alley survey. But, we're recommending, they put in an offer of $1,000. And so we're recommending the council to approve the $1,000, which would cover the costs.
Again, Mr. Carlson, you've got a chance to look it over.
Yes, at council's direction, I drafted the purchase agreement pursuant to direction received, and this will satisfy that obligation.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
What is that structure back there in little section number 1? Looks like there's some sort of church. No, it looks like it might be like a portable carport or something.
Camper? That's your
Camper? Okay, that's a camper. All right, I was
Yeah.
close. I'm assuming that's the nuances.
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. Just make sure we're not,
Selling somebody else's shit.
yeah, we got squatters back there or something.
If there's no other questions or comments, I need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve Ken and Susie Newlands to purchase the city-owned property for the price of $1,000.
I support.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Approval of police department, portable radio. Mr. Anderson.
Okay, so the last item on the under communications is for the portable radio for the police department. Chief Schaefer is here this evening if you have any questions, but as in the report, this particular radio, we're replacing radio from our squad. And
It's not a squad car radio.
no, it's not a squad car radio, it's a portable radio, but we're replacing it for the squad, for the department, right? All right, so $2,919.50. And as you can see, it's the only, Elcom is the only radio that can go to 800 megahertz tower.
Well, that's Elcom salesman for Motorola.
Yeah.
And they have state contracts, state price. That are set up to make packets and radios. for the state machine. Access the tower.
Budgeted,
Go ahead.
Budgeted item.
it's budgeted item.
And it's $80.50 cheaper than budgeted item. That's even better yet.
There's no other questions or comments. Let's do a motion to approve.
I move that Elcom be approved to provide the city of Norway Police with an APX 4000 portable radio for a price not to exceed $29.19.50.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Minigini?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Addresses from the audience. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so at the podium. Anyone on Zoom must use the chat feature. Submit your question or comment, and it will be read aloud by one of the members of staff. In either case, state your name and address for the record. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes per person.
So we do have a hand raised, but you need to put it in chat because we can't do voice over the with our sound system. So if you put it in chat, I will be able to read it. Okay.
They put it into chat.
They are, it just says, please stand by. Okay, so I'll read as written. My name is Dr. Michael Silver, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Pinnacle Emporium. Our group is opening its 5th retail medical cannabis facility in the state of Michigan in the next 30 days and have a significant interest in making Norway our 6th location. We have a property earmarked that we firmly believe to be well within the zoning restrictions for the city. But we have some questions regarding the scoring rubric. That said, we'd like to gain some clarity on these items before spending more time and resources on the pursuit. Please see below. Grant, do you want to take this one?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Anderson. And thank you, is it Dr. Silver, I think it is? Thank you for expressing your interest. As I noted in my email earlier last week, and also trying to be consistent, the City of Norway's scoring rubric and the process that the ordinance has been passed by the City Council, we have and we will be appointing a scoring committee that will be reviewing the scoring rubric and the applications that do come in. That scoring committee will make a recommendation to the City Council for ultimate determination at some point down the road after we've received all those applications. That being said, the City Council cannot provide, and I'm advising them not to provide, any interpretations of the rubric at this time or provide any clarifications currently as to the scoring rubric interpretations because we don't know how the scoring committee will, of course, interpret them. The scoring committee is the one that will be looking at it first. And then once we do a deep dive, the council may have an opportunity to look at it and they will likely have their own opinions. What we've also chatted about doing and we anticipated, as we've talked about for a couple of years now, this will be a process that certainly will have questions. We'll certainly will have certain in-depth discussions to clarify different issues. This has been, I think this was the second inquiry we had. regarding some clarifications. One of the things we did discuss, Mr. Anderson and I, what some other municipalities have done is put out kind of like a scoring bulletin. We certainly would not want to provide guidance or information to one entity over another. So as we seat the scoring committee and they start looking through things, or if council desires and thinks we need to have some quick clarifications on the rubric itself, perhaps we could look into putting out guidance or scoring bulletins for any clarifications, because there has been some questions, and a lot of it comes down to interpretation. And I certainly, as the city attorney, am not going to provide an interpretation to those questions sitting here now. So there's a process, and I certainly, and at the same time, frankly, I understand and respect these businesses that are trying to make quick decisions and they're trying to make determinations for location. They're putting time and money into it as well. But I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to answer that or have council answer some of those questions right now. But we are looking into it and would anticipate. I think the bulletin might be the best thing to put on our website. I've seen other entities downstate do that when there's questions that arise as well.
So the question was asked specifically, and I didn't read off the specific question. I would recommend, based on, again, the advisement of our legal counsel, that you send those in writing to the attorney, to Mr. Carlson. And, or if you send them to us, we are going to send them to Mr. Carlson. And then we'll look at trying to figure out a way of disseminating that if we can, again. But it needs to go through the attorney's office. So I apologize if this is frustrating, but this is the process.
And I did receive, as I noted, I received an email from this gentleman. It was a very well-written, professional, concise email with very good questions. So it's not in any way meant to diminish or set aside those questions. They're good questions. Just we have to follow the process and be certain we do everything we can to take
you
correct
for everyone.
Yes. Yep.
Makes sense.
That was the end of the chat there.
Well, he's continuing on, but it needs to go through the attorney, basically, because for myself or staff or the council, I think it needs to, we're going to be directing all questions to Mr. Carlson's office, and we're going to coordinate it that way so that we have a consistent evaluation and response.
Are you able to review that chat? You know, like at some point?
I can certainly take a look at it. Like I said, the email that was sent to me was obviously it was all well written with a number of questions and requests for clarification. But it would be my interpretation, not the scoring committee's interpretation.
No, absolutely. I just, making sure that that we're going to go through definitely see the attorney, but we just maybe review it and whatever. If there's some kind of response there.
Yep.
If you could respond.
And I have.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I certainly make sure to get back. And in the future, if other folks have questions, certainly look forward to chatting with them and trying to work through those issues.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else from the audience? All right. Any other council comments? Mr. Pop.
I'd like to just touch back on that last week in the baseball tournament that was out at Marion Park. I spoke with many people from out of town, from downstate. They were absolutely dreading coming up here. Because they're like, what are we getting into? Are we playing in cow fields or what's the scoop here? When they got here, as soon as they came to our facilities, they could not believe our facilities. They said, this is by far the best tournaments. And some of these people are traveling to Iowa, Illinois, nonstop travel baseball, even at 10 years old. They were absolutely impressed. It just flabbergasted at how our facilities looked and the way our community treated them and welcomed them. That was phenomenal. And our city guys, like you said, they did a fantastic job preparing the facility out there. They were out there, a couple of city guys were out there all weekend from first game until the end, helping out, just enjoying it. It was a great weekend of baseball. I'm okay with baseball. My thing is a softball. It's a different sport, but I really enjoyed. There was some great competition, and there wasn't that much. Usually when you get 16 teams, competitive side gets the best of people, and there wasn't really any issues. It was a great weekend for baseball. I'm really glad we were able to host it. That's all I got.
Mr. Maggie?
First, apologize for being late. I was out there with T-ball, trying to groom the next generation, maybe, or not turn them off completely to the sport. But yeah, I mean, all the great things that we said, and I sit and I think about the economic impact of that event to our community. I know it's immeasurable. Like, there's no way to figure it out. But all that work from all those kids and those parents and those coaches and our city workers, made all that possible. Yeah, I say us as a council and as a community, we do whatever we can to throw support to those organizations to try to keep that not to be once every, was it 20 years?
20 years,
Yeah, we can't let that happen. Let's keep that going.
Well, I know of 4 teams that lost on Sunday, and they decided to stay until the last day because they'd never been to the UP, and they were planning to go back until they saw what we had in our area. The kids went white water rafting. I mean, they did everything where they're up there. They said it was such a great experience. That final game that we had people that came down from Marquette. There's people from Gladstone. There's people from Menominee. Somebody came from the Sioux to watch these 10-year-olds at Norway. That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. One thing I will say, and I made a joke about this when we were out there, and it hurts to say it in a way, but it makes you smile. Lee would have came here tonight, and he would have had a total number of cars that were out there at that park. He would have had a total number of how many cars were at each game.
Yeah, we would have.
I again, just echoing both of you. I mean, it was tremendous effort put on by everybody, and I think they were very successful as a team. I think we were successful as a community, and again, yeah, just thanking all the volunteers and everybody that helped out. It was phenomenal. Mr. Anderson?
No, I'd say the same thing. I mean, that was one of the, we put a lot of work in the last 6 weeks, and I'd like to thank my guys for really sticking to it and getting some other stuff done. I mean, we had other, like everything, we have other things that happen, and we had to pull off and do things. And so, I know that's kind of frustrating. We estimate, when something's going to get done, and it doesn't get finished quite as quickly, but I think everybody hung in there, and you know what? I think they really enjoyed it when I talked to them. They were feeling like it was something that I think they're proud of. So, and they should be. And so I appreciate everything they did. The volunteers, going out there and watching all of the work and seeing the work ahead of time, and then seeing it all come to fruition is really, really nice. We've mentioned it before. We need volunteers. We need people step up. In this case, they absolutely did. We've got other events coming up that we need volunteers as well. You get really good satisfaction when something comes off really well. So, but I just want to personally thank everybody who put in a ton of hours to get this done. So they did a great job.
Mr. Carlson?
Nothing, thank you.
Mary, Trish? All right, if nothing else, I look for adjourn.
I make motion, we adjourn.
Support?
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
So when you got that